Hey everybody, welcome to another Rainmaker podcast. And today we got another dandy for you. We got the man, the myth, the legend, Ron Williams in the business, and he's going to be talking to you how to write annuities and sell IULs. You guys want to stay tuned, grab a pen and a piece of paper. Ron, my man, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. Welcome to the Rainmaker podcast, brother.
Oh, thank you for having me. Pleasure to be on the show.
For sure, for sure. Well, man, let's jump right in. Take me back. How did you even get into this game called life insurance business in the first place?
Yeah, man, that's a good question. I used to sell gold and silver for 10 years in California and was comfortable, making a couple $100,000 a year. Had the lifestyle that I wanted, but I just didn't have the time to really spend with my family because every year, the clock starts over, and so you're always kind of chasing the money. And so a friend of mine introduced me to the life insurance industry around the same time and said, hey, this is something that you might want to look into. And at that time, I was always, I just had a bad taste in my mouth about insurance and that industry. So I wasn't interested, but I was interested in passive income. Now I
Mm,
wasn't blessed to be an artist and sing, right, or do movies or anything like that.
right.
But I did know that in that space, if you work, you can get paid on residuals, and that was something that excited me. So that's how I got started in 2013.
2013. Okay. And so, going from doing multiple six figures to doing life insurance, was that a big change? Was it different? Was it very similar? Like, what was that gap like for you?
The gap was more the mindset, um, because when you're in sales, right, you sell a product, you get a gratification on that. You obviously get rewarded, especially if you're in a high ticket sales industry. Insurance, you're not selling, right? Because this is something that people have to qualify for. So for me, that was the part as far as how do I adjust to what's in it for them rather than what's in it for me, and be more of a have more of a care factor than a sell factor. And that's kind of what had to change for me is just how I approach when I sit down with people, um, to really kind of more educate, give them information, let them make an educated decision on what's best for their family.
Gotcha. Okay. So, what was that first? So, 2013. What was that first 90 days like for you being in the insurance game?
That was rough. Well, my mentor Nate Alford, who you met, he drives a hard bargain, and so he just threw me in the car and drove me around Texas for the first 90 days, and really put me out there into the wolves. But for me, I could take it. I had thick skin, so it was like it's either make it or go home. And
Mm-hmm.
so so I did it, and um, again, I just had to go through a learning period on how to communicate with people effectively, which I'm a people's person anyway, so it wasn't hard for me to kind of eventually get over that little hump. But once I figured it out, then I started to enjoy it. I started to enjoy door knocking. I started to enjoy going to people's homes, eating up their food.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun. And then really it didn't become more of a job. It just became more of just helping people and really going out and providing service.
Nice. Yeah. And so, as you get into this game, there's levels to this, right? So, I'm curious of how you came across me. Had you heard about me before we got introduced through Nate?
Yeah, I did. I saw you on social media, Facebook, and I had made up my mind that somebody of your caliber, if I wanted to do business with you, I was going to try to reach out to you directly and try
Mm-hmm.
to talk to you personally, just to see if you're real, make
Mm,
sure and then kind of see what kind of character you're with, um, before I just decided not only to do business with you, but to make sure that first of all, can I get a hold of you? Where other people, they may think that they're that big that nobody can talk to them, or you got to go through a screening process. But you don't know who I am, you don't know who I know, or my connections or anything like that, or what I can do to bring value to your team. So I figured if you talk to me, then I knew that you was a real person rather than, you're so big that you can't even pick up the phone and talk to, a person like myself.
Yeah.
So I did hear about you. I did reach out. I did speak to one of your representatives, and then I don't know. I got sidetracked and didn't follow up with it. I didn't pursue it. And then one of my other colleagues had you met with Edward Pritchett.
Yes.
Told me about you as well, and I'm good friends with Edward. And so that just validated that, okay, you are who they say you are. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I'm realizing too, that alignment is part of it, not just the results, right? And so you want to make sure that you're following people for three reasons. One is that they have got the result that you're actually looking to achieve. The second thing is
sure,
that they've been able to help somebody else that started where you are and they were able to get to that level. And then the third piece is that you're aligned outside of just the superficial things, right? That your views and your values align with theirs. And when you really
absolutely,
put that lens on people, it really makes it really simple who you should work with and who you shouldn't work with, who you should listen to and who you shouldn't listen to.
absolutely, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
we've taken a lot of bad relationships or bad decisions over the years, and so now it's just, listen. There's a lot of people out there that say they can do something, or they're trying to sell their products. And before you go spending your hard-earned money to invest in this person, you want to make sure that they're the real deal, and their views line up with your views. So you're absolutely right.
yeah, 100%. So yeah, so let's talk about that. So end up having a conversation. What ultimately was the deciding factor that made you pull the trigger then? Because I know you had talked to somebody before, you got sidetracked. So was there a circumstance or something said in the conversation? What made you just like, okay, cool, I'm going to do this right now?
Well, because I guess with the type of leads that you said you could provide were in the advanced markets, the IULs, annuities, which that's kind of where I mean, I've been selling gold forever, and so I felt that's the place I need to be. Nothing wrong with life insurance, mortgage protection, final expense, that's fine. But for me, I really get excited about really helping people when it comes to their money and putting them in the right products, like that. So
Mm,
me and my family own a bunch of IULs and annuities, and so there's a lot of people out there that really don't understand how it works,
mm-hmm.
or have been told the wrong thing about annuities and IULs. So I said, okay, let me give you a shot. So I said, all right, let's go ahead, and I started with a small position, and I believe I got about 53 leads. Wasn't really prepared like I should have been, meaning as far as calendar and calling and knowing that, okay, no, it's time to go. And then it was just this one lady that actually booked on my calendar. She was there when I called her. We had a great conversation, and then from there is just me following up and make sure that I was able to help her.
Yeah, for sure. And that's kind of what I want to dive into. So most insurance agents specifically, they've never had somebody to just auto book on their calendar without them having to do anything. So had you ever
Yeah.
had that experience before?
I have, yes, I have had that before. With I was doing like a teacher's retirement type
Yeah.
calendar, and I had some success, except the difference was that I had to kind of convince them why I was partnered up with that other company. You know what I
Mm,
mean? And so they didn't. It was like they didn't really know who I was, so
right.
forth. So,
Right.
so
But she was very clear aware kind of what was going on and what the conversation was going to
absolutely,
be
yeah,
about. Yeah, which
absolutely,
is one of those things, because that's really what it's about. It's like I say, insurance agents and financial service professionals don't get burnt out from the business. They get burnt out of wasting their time trying to convince people of things that they already need, right? Because, like you said, this is a thing that they have to qualify for. So you don't really need to sell it. What you end up
yeah,
having to sell is you have to you end not selling. You're convincing people, right, why they need this when we already know that they got to qualify for it. So that's one of the things that I love about the system that we use is because people are kind of already interested, right? Not saying
yeah,
everybody's going to buy, but they are open to the conversation, right? They're educated a
sure,
little bit. They kind of know what they're looking for. So let's talk about that case, because you text me and I was just telling you before we got started that I that day I needed that message, and when you sent it to me, I immediately screenshot and sent it to my team, and we all just kind of celebrated together. So you ended up getting an auto booking. The lady was on your calendar. You said you tried to talk to her. But then something happened and you had to get back to her. So you followed up with her, and ultimately, what was the end result?
And the result, she decided to move forward. Once we probably had about 4 or 5 conversations within a matter of 3 months. Obviously you had the holidays and things like that, so you kind of got to back off when people are going out of town.
Yeah,
Um, and then also just establishing that trust, and really kind of let's put the money aside for a minute and just talk about what is it that you're looking for, right? Asking the right questions, and then from there, just assuming that okay, we're going to move forward. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And so it worked out perfect. We got the application done. That's when I decided to send you the text, letting you know, hey, listen, I appreciate you for providing the information and then showing you that yeah, it does work. I was able to get another small IUL out of it, and then I have to follow up with the rest of the people that I didn't get a hold of or weren't interested. Not saying that, it's like it's a numbers game, right? You don't know what you're going to get, so you just got to go through the numbers and try to get resolution on every person that came through that I purchased. Right? If you're
mm,
not interested, great. You see what I'm saying? That's fine. But at least I
yes,
know that you're not interested. If not, then sometimes it's going to take a little bit longer to because people have things going on, so they need to. What they say, it takes 7 times for a sale before somebody purchases from you.
yes,
Seven contacts.
one
So
hundred percent. And you said a word that I just defined a couple of days ago, so I'm trying to find it because it was that word resolution, because it keeps coming up, especially since it's the new year. So I wanted to really kind of piggyback on that. So resolution, because I'm in this thing where I want to define terms because we throw around words so much. But
right.
if we want to know, if we want to be clear about things, like we need to define them. And so resolution is a firm decision to do or not to do something. And so if you're going for a resolution, that means you need an answer. It needs to come to a conclusion, right? So we need to follow through with people until they give us an answer, whether they're going to do this or they're not,
Yep,
right?
absolutely.
So that's the
Yep.
resolution. So I'm glad that you mentioned that. And going through a process, right? Like you said, it is a numbers game. But man, to be able to write a 400,000 annuity, takes a little bit of skill, right? Like the average person isn't gonna just do that, So what kind of goes into a process like that? Are you asking questions? Is there anything that looks like money? Like how are you able to facilitate a deal like that?
Well, yeah, it does. It's asking the right questions, finding out, where their millions are parked at. That's one question you should always ask. Hey Arturo, where do you have your millions parked at? And what you want to do is you want to get a laugh like you did, but at the same time, you'd be surprised that there's people out there that do have a lot of money. Right now, are they going to divulge that on the first call? Probably not. But over time, you once you uncover and pull, the sheets back, you'll find out that there's money available for you,
Mm.
if you ask for it. And it's just a number, whether it's
Yeah.
40,000, 400,000, or 4 million. It's a number. It doesn't really, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
You know
And
what
your
though? I
goal is
find that interesting that you just casually say, I just ask them, "Hey man, are the millions under the bed or what? Is it in the closet? Like where is it?" You just ask the
absolutely,
question. It's funny, and most people never ask that question. They talk to thousands
yeah.
of people, and they never ask the question. It's
I
very
know you'd be
interesting.
surprised if you just did that on every person that you spoke to. You'd be surprised that somebody would say, hey, I got this amount of money over here.
You know why though? It's because we're assuming, like they're assuming something and we're assuming something, and we never get anywhere with that, right? We're assuming they have the money, and it's like, well, just ask them. Right? Just
Yep,
ask them, and then they're assuming that they're gonna be sold something, but they don't realize how this could benefit them. So we never get there, and we're both just kind of like feeling around in the dark instead of just asking, "Hey,
yep.
where are you hiding the millions?"
Absolutely. You have
Mm,
to. I mean, think about what that can do for you. What if somebody gave you $4 million to move over? What would that look like for you and your family in 2024? Right? And all because you asked a simple question. What's the worst they can say? I mean, really, when you're asking that, it's not like you're asking how much money do you make. That's offensive.
mm,
But if you ask where do you keep your millions parked at, now they have to at least answer. And you can kind of gauge from there. Well, I don't have $1 million. Okay, approximately how much do you have? Is it
right.
is it? You see what I'm saying? Now you can kind of gauge and
Yes.
see what you're working with. So
Yeah, that's so powerful. And most people aren't getting the right answers because they're asking the wrong questions.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah,
powerful. Well, yeah, man. So, as we're kind of wrapping this up, right? There's two schools of thought. There's people that's like, oh well, he did it, so that doesn't mean that I can do it. Or I see things online, and people may be skeptical that
yeah.
Arturo, isn't real, and all of these numbers, these people, and this stuff are made up. And I'm sure you've
Right.
seen some of the testimonial. But what would you just say from your experience? I know the 4K annuity is great, but other than that, the experience, the service delivery, having everything rolled
Yep.
out to you, the speed in which things are executed, that like once you give somebody 1,500 to 2,000, that remorse is like, okay, did I make a good decision? To get that
Right.
confirmation that okay, leads are literally coming in the same day when you said you weren't prepared. Like what would you say to people that are kind of skeptical with like, man, can I use a system like this? Can I trust Arturo?
Yeah, you're gonna have that with anybody, really. Because you just don't know. You don't know what you don't know. You
Yes.
don't know Arturo. You never met you, right? So I'm hoping, I'm basing on other people's experience that this is going to work out,
Yes.
right? Now, let's say you spend the 1,500 and you don't close a sale, okay? So now does that mean the leads suck, or did you really give it 100, like Eric Thomas said, 115% effort to try to get a hold of everybody and get resolution on every single person that came through that funnel, right? Or that was on your calendar, whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's say you did sign up one or two people, you know, um, then that would then give you your money back. You know what I mean? Depending on your level contract or where you're at.
Right.
So, so really, it's like, what do you really have to lose? Compared to the amount of people that you're going to get in front of, and that some are going to book on your calendar, so that makes it easier. That they know that they're looking to talk to you specifically about a specific product. So that takes the whole cold calling or chasing people out of the equation. You've made it simple. You provide it. It came in a time fashion. All I would say for the person that wants to do so is get ready. Get your calendar ready. Make sure you got everything ready to go because they coming. And before you know it,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, whoa,
Yeah.
I got more than I can handle. So
For sure. And that was the thing that we talked about. Was you're like, when is it gonna start? I was like, today. You're like, today? Yeah, man. I need the link. I need the states. Like, let's go. We're not playing around, right? We're trying
yeah,
to we're trying to get your result fast as possible. But again,
yeah,
man, at the end of the day, this program works if the agent works, and that's what I appreciate from you for showing leadership, putting in the work, right? Because it wasn't just you picked up and you made the sale, right? Like you had to do your due diligence to resolve the lead and see the thing through to the end. And that's how you got the reward, my man. And if
absolutely.
92% of agents would just do that, they would be in the 8%.
Absolutely,
For sure.
absolutely. Yeah, you got to do the work. Obviously, we would love to sit back and get our whole calendar filled up, and then everybody, as soon as we call, they pick up and say, "Yes, I'm ready to sign up." But we know that's not the world that we live in. It is going to be some point where you have to do more than average to get resolution. Continue to follow up, continue to build that rapport, continue to send text messages and things like that, so that they feel comfortable that they now want to do business with you. Because at the end of the day, they're buying you. They're
Right.
not buying the product. They're buying you, and really, you got to become that elite, insurance agent that can give them the service that they need. So, thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. This has been great. Love hearing the story and the journey, and I'm just looking forward to 2024 being a part of you having your best year. Even though you already come from having some great years doing that type of production, doing gold. I'm like, I'm in the wrong business. I need to start selling gold, doing a couple hundred
Yeah,
thousand
man.
a year. It's incredible. So again, thank you for coming on and sharing your story and being a part of the Rainmaker. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man. God bless you.
God bless.